This is your section B. So let's just click on it and open it. Really? Just says they can't read the file. That's so annoying, isn't it? Okay. Goodness. Let's just see if I can open it one more time. Right. Okay. Not to worry. What I'm going to do then is I've had an update basically. What I'm going to do is I'll forward it to you. Sorry, I'll forward it to me. Action Media. Okay, so we're going to look at your section B. Now, while I'm just going to get this, I'm just going to say that you need to just find some more to do and just do them on your own account, okay? Whatever ones you haven't done, you need to find on your own account, okay? So that's what you need to do. So let's see if I can open section B. Are you bored of your repetitive run-of-the-mill life? Maybe you need something to do. I'd recommend a company called Extreme Sport. They allow you to do a lot of fun sporting activities. You can go rock climbing, abseiling, skydiving and bungee jumping, just to name some of the most popular ones. Tonight I will discuss some of the sports in detail. Don't worry about safety. Never has this company had any death in any of its sports. I think that's a semicolon there, isn't it? I'm going to open this with Google Docs. Okay. So section B, water sports, IGCSE Edexcel, Jack. So we like that. Okay, so you've got a rhetorical question. Da Forest T. So we have a look what you've put. Are you bored with the repetitive modelling? So that's good. Do you need something? Maybe you need something exciting to do. I would recommend a company called Ultrix. They allow you to do a lot of fun sporting activities. Semicolon, good. You could probably put a colon there actually, because it's a list, isn't it? Then it will leave you a chance to do the other. Do you know how to use a colon? I'll give you a colon video. I'm not sure, but anyway, you could put a colon there. All right, I will do a colon video in a minute. Today I'll discuss some of these sports in detail. Don't worry about safety. I think that's a semicolon. Okay, so you can use a colon, semicolon. Comment. This company had the worst that has happened is someone broke their leg a few years ago, so he wasn't following the rules properly. As long as you do as you're told, you'll be fine. Good. The first sport I'll discuss is skydiving. You're taught what to do, given the point and settled into it. Eventually, you'll be staying under the plane door, looking down at the clouds below. It'll be scary at first, but after jumping out, you'll want to do it again. Good. Good. So you've got nice paragraphing. The next sport I'll discuss is skiing. You put on a special, so a nice, you're looking at different sports. The last sport I'll cover, so 3 sports. You go to the top of a tower, attach yourself to the safety equipment, you climb down the side of the tower. There are things to hold on to and step on, so it shouldn't be so too difficult to get down. This one is slower paced, so you don't rush down at Mach 1 like with some of the other sports. 2 has got a double O. 2. This is just some of the sports you can participate in. There are dozens more. Okay, so you haven't proofread that, have you? Proofread. But I'll let you explain that for yourself. Like I said, it's always very cheap, only thousands of access. I hope you go there. It's the best sport company there is. Okay, I wouldn't say £1,000 is cheap personally. Anyway, okay, so now we'll look at the mark scheme. That's not it, is it? Oh dear, if I deleted the wrong one. No, here we are. I need you to redo that section A, didn't I? I think that's what I asked you to do, isn't it? It's the section A we need to work on, my dear boy. The section A. Okay? You're all right with this on the whole. Use ideas from text 1 and text 2 in the extract booklet to answer this question. So, have you used ideas from text 1 and text 2? What different types of adventure activities there are, the positive experience, the unpleasant experiences. You haven't really got any unpleasant experiences, have you? Anyway, I'll go back and have a look. Think carefully about the purpose of the talk. Write the text of your talk. I'm going to put the question in above it. How happy am I about the positive and the negative? I think you could have done that in more detail personally, but let's have a look. Oh goodness, what's that? Okay, so there's the question. Use ideas from text 1 and text 2. So you've included what different type of adventure activities there are. You've included some positive, don't worry about safety, scary. So you have done some, haven't you? Bring a coat. Okay, so you've covered it in some sort of way, not obviously in a very detailed way. Let's have a look what it says. See how. Okay. A suitable register for talk to peers should be adopted. Candidates should address all areas. The following are some points that candidates may make, but there are other possibilities. So yours is sound, it's solid. It does cover. You have interpreted the task more widely and used other examples, haven't you? But they are suggesting you could do rafting, abseiling, exploring underground, zip lining, jumping from height into water. So the point is you're using everything that they've actually talked to you about. So the positive experience, why do this? Why do this? And I think you should probably have done a paragraph, why do it? Why not do it? Then you've actually covered those bullet points. Just be really clear to cover the bullet points. So I would say for homework, write why you should do these extreme sports and why they might be unpleasant. All right, then at least you're following the bullet points to the letter. If I look back at yours again, but you have basically covered it. You just haven't covered it in any sort of. You'll want to do it again. It's scary at first. Okay. So you've covered it to a certain extent, but just try and actually just do a paragraph for each bullet point. I would probably suggest might be a good idea in the exam, if you can. Can be exciting, can be exhilarating, can be interesting. Discovering how strong you are, discovering that you can survive, discovering that you can do activities you thought you could not, discovering that you enjoy thrills, discovering that you can put yourself to the limit, discovering what you're capable of. So those are the things you're trying to steal from the text. You're stealing stuff from the text in this one. It's almost like a rewrite of one text into another. So the unpleasant experiences of being injured can be frightening, can be painful. All of these are in there, aren't they? Can be challenging, can be exhausting, can be difficult, can be dangerous, can be life-threatening. Of course, that is the second text with Emma going on the big old car park type raft. The positive experience was mainly from the first text, wasn't it? Except for the positive experience of the other one, is that she discovered she was now covered in a magic, wasn't she? So anyway, yeah. So what mark would you give yourself then? Give that a read. So you have to read and understand a variety of texts, selecting and interpreting information and ideas. So you're basically transferring from one text to another. That's what you're doing. And that's what we do in life. We often read one text, then transfer it into another. So I decide I want to go to, I don't know, the Maldives. I read about the Maldives and I translate it into a speech to my husband. I wish to go to the Maldives because that's what we do all the time. Also, when we're actually summing up stuff if we work, we read a load of stuff and then we have to sum it up for our boss or something. So it's actually a collating and understanding and selecting and interpreting information, absolute ideas and perspectives, absolutely vital in life, actually. And the ideas and perspective things, you want to see what perspective people have got. Are they anti it? Are they pro it? Are they negative? Are they positive? It's very important for politics. It's very important for, we read about, what the politicians are up to. Do we agree? Don't we agree? What does the writer think? Are they up for it or not? What is their idea and perspective on Boris Johnson or Trump? What is the underlying message? The underlying message in your first text was, oh, how exciting and challenging and fun, la la la. And the other one was, oh, it can actually kill you, but I was really lucky. So, it's saying that I'm sort of touched with magic and everyone else, we don't really know what happened to everyone else. Imagine it was pretty serious. So let's look at level 3. Whoops, so annoying when it does that. It's that silly update. Well, you aren't doing, and look at level 5. So I don't think you've done a selected interpretation of the given bullet points as apt as persuasive in clarifying the points being made. No. You see, I don't think you've really talked about the bullet points in a lot of detail. Offers a wide range of relevant points, presents well-focused, constant, perceptive references to information and ideas. So no, I think you're down at level 3, 5 to 6. You have sort of selected and interpreted the given bullet points. It's sort of not developed really as well. It's given some relevant points, brings in some relevant information and ideas. I'd give you about 5, I think. So I think the bullet points is your weak point. You need to go back to the text, and I like the fact you used it as a lift off really, and you've got your other extreme sports, but you probably haven't got enough on. If I look at it, you've done what types of this one, you've done that one, but you haven't really explored. Well, you have in some way, but not in a sort of a detailed way, have you? Because these were about detailed about positive and negative experience of extreme sports, weren't they? So I'd probably give you 5, which is 5 out of 10 is all right, isn't it? You might get 6 in the exam. As I say, I'm a bit of a stingy marker. Question 8. So again, have a little look at those. So we're looking at A04. Communicate imaginatively, adapting form, tone, and register of writing for specific purposes. So the requirement is a speech. You've got some idea that it's a speech, but you haven't said, hello, good morning, it's a lovely day, isn't it? Or something imaginative like that. Or I'm standing here before you. You could say that. That makes it really clear it's a speech. We've all wanted to have a go at something but haven't had the guts to do it or the money to do it. You could do like that as well, couldn't you? So it's supposed to be a speech, isn't it? Let's have a look again. You have an ask if a talk to your peers that about taking part in adventure activities. Okay, so it reads a little bit like an advert, which is okay, but they're not asking you for an advert for extreme sports. They're asking for you to talk about why people want to do extreme sports and why they might want to, what they might want to do. Anyway, that's okay. I'm not going to penalise you too much, although it doesn't say you're writing a speech to your peers about an extreme sports company, does it? says you're writing to talk about extreme sports. Okay, so level one, your communication is not at a basic level and it's not limited in clarity. Level two, you do communicate in a broadly appropriate way. You show some grasp of the purpose and the expectation and requirements of the intended audience in this case. Straightforward use of form and tone and register. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling level two. What have we got to make it clear it is a speech? Oh, yes, yeah, so your direct address, aren't you? You see, what you could have done, you could steal the ideas here, okay? So you could talk about a horrible accident based on the second text, or you could talk about, an imaginary day on a gap year, based on the first text. Do you see what I mean? You could do that. Yeah, so you could talk, and you could sort of make it up, an anecdote. Couldn't you? Because one of De Forest is anecdotes, isn't it? So you could use that anecdote as a starting point, couldn't you? And the first text, you could, you have an imaginary boy trying something. Okay? You could have some experts in there as well. Made up. You could have some statistics. So it's sort of a talk, isn't it? And some imagery. If you've done all of that, it could be level 5. Communication is subtle and perceptive. Task is sharply focused on purpose and expectations, requirements of the intended listener. It says reader there, but obviously it's a listener. Sophisticated control of form, tone, and register. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can sort of use those as examples. Maybe that's it's hard for some people, and that's absolutely fine. You're still going to pass. You just need to do so community. So level 3 we're probably looking at. So if you read that. So you have got appropriate use of form, tone, and register. You are sort of addressing them in a sort of a very clear, simple way, aren't you? You do understand the expectations and requirements. They are sort of interested in extreme sports and a little bit of description of it. Okay, and you do communicate clearly. I'd probably give you 5 or 6. Let me give you 6. 5, 6. So what's the next one? So we'll have a look at that. AO5. Write clearly using a range of vocabulary structures with appropriate paragraphing and accurate spelling and grammar and punctuation. So you've got all of that, haven't you? Let's look at level 3. Develops and manages appropriate information and ideas using structural and grammatical features deliberately with accurate paragraphing. Yes. Uses a varied and selective activity vocabulary. Yes. Including with irregular patterns. Yes. Uses a range of accurate and varied punctuation for clarity. Yes. Yeah. Adapting sentence structures for effect. Manipulates complex ideas using a range of structural and grammatical features to support coherence and cohesion. So that means using participles, sad and determined. Emma or your imaginary person had set out that day to do a climb of Mount Everest. She managed to climb to the very top and she stood on the roof of the world like a goddess. But on the way down, she broke her leg, and it was only because of the guides who managed to carry her down that she survived. This is a cautionary tale for those who want to do extreme sports. The world is not Disneyland. It's not a playground for middle class children who can afford £1,000 or £10,000 to go climbing in remote outposts. And perhaps your money could be spent better on helping refugees or supporting charities or even, well, you could put anything there, but basically you can sort of disagree and have a bit of fun with it, which is what I would do. I don't think things like extreme sports are a particularly good idea personally. I think they're dangerous and foolish, and really all that energy and joy and determination could be used uh, doing something else that would be less aimless, climbing a mountain that's already been climbed and dangerous, and you die on the way, like Mount Everest or something, and going down holes or going underground. It's not my cup of tea, but that's fine. You could put that in there. Some people can't stand the idea of wasting their energies, their vital life force climbing down tiny little holes that you might get stuck down. Anyway, there you go. Why do it? So there's lots of ways you could have approached that, and that would be the manipulates complex ideas using a range of structural and grammatical features that I've just discussed. Using the idea of someone climbing up Mount Everest and having a bit of fun. Punctuates writing with accuracy to aid emphasis and precision using a range of sentence structures accurately and selectively. It's what I just did. I said it's sad and determined or blah blah blah. Okay, so anyway, that's not a problem. You're level 3. All right, which is fine. So let's put you in there. So let's just have a look what we got. So let's just put you at 6, 6, 6, 12, 18. So you're over half marks. I'll put you 6 there. Perhaps I'll put you 6 here on this one. 6 and 6. Anyway, still a pass. I'll put 6 there. 6, 12, 18. 18 out of 30. So that's still a pass, okay? I am being a bit harsh. Let's go and see if I can give you more marks for that. Hang on. You have used some aspects of DeForest, haven't you? Okay, I'll give you 8. Right, 8. So what was that? 8, 6, 12, 20, yeah. Anyway, I'm not very generous, but you've got a pass there, okay? It might even be higher than that because they might be more generous than me. So you might actually get, level 7. All right. It's not enough. Use of adjectives, you see. Remember my recipe, you need some adjectives. You should probably bring a warm winter. That's to keep you warm. You go to the top of a very tall, scary tower, okay, and look over the world, okay. Then you attach yourself to safety equipment. You climb a, yeah. So yeah, but abseiling is also, it's more scary and it's more terrifying, emotive language, and challenging to abseil down cliff faces in the bright sunshine and a whipping wind trying to knock you off. Yeah? So I'm just trying to, so choose your venue. Perhaps start off indoors and then start off simple and then move on to mountains. And then you can say, films I have seen that explore this sport show it as amazing and exhilarating, yet totally safe. You are strapped on to experts. Anyway, see how I'm just trying to help you out there. Anyway, it's one of the slower pace. You don't rush down like that. It's more stereotyped outside down cliff faces in the bright and they're whipping and trying to knock you off. Choose your venue. Yes, I'm just trying to make it more interesting. As you can see, there's it needs proofreading. Perhaps start off simple and move on to mountains, onto sliding. So you make it more interesting. Sliding down mountain faces in Africa. Films I've seen, films. I could put a bracketed comma there. Films I have seen that explore this sport, comma. Films that I have seen. That's it. Films I have seen that show is amazing. No, I don't think I need a bracket, comma there. Films I have seen that explore this sport. Anyway, exhilarating. I wasn't picking up my spelling, is it? Okay. So, I mean, it's basically fine. You'll get through the exam. All right. So, yeah, you're happy with that? Just be clear to do the bullet points. Remember, it's a speech. Have a bit of fun with it. All right. Try and use my recipe. Yeah. So, the recipe. Oh, I've still got the colon bitty to do with you. Recipe. Okay, creative writing. Just make it a little bit creative, emotive language, etc. Rule of three. Rule of three adjectives. Just once. Remember that. Anyway, I'm going to stop now and do your other one.